Imagine you're sitting in a room with 100 other people. Every single one of you is broke. Not a little tight on cash. Broke. You've been working your whole life and you have nothing to show for it. And then the richest man in the city walks in and says, "I can fix this. All of it, in 7 steps. 7. That's it. Not some complicated financial plan. Not a 100-page textbook. 7 simple rules that anyone, and I mean anyone, can follow." This actually happened. In ancient Babylon, the king himself ordered it. He looked around at his people, hardworking people, and asked a simple question. Why are they all still poor? Why does the wealth keep flowing to the same small group while everyone else struggles? So he brought in Arkad, the richest man in Babylon, and told him to teach. Teach them everything you know. And what Arkad laid out that day became the foundation of every wealth-building system that has ever existed. These are the 7 cures for a lean purse. And if you actually follow them, your financial life will never look the same. Picture it. A massive stone hall in the heart of Babylon. 100 students sitting on wooden benches, packed in tight. Some are merchants who can't seem to hold onto profit. Some are laborers who've never had more than a few coins to their name. A couple of soldiers. A few craftsmen. All of them frustrated. All of them wondering the same thing. What are we doing wrong? And at the front of the room stands Arkad. No slides. No PowerPoint. Just a man who started with nothing and built a fortune so large that the king himself asked for his advice. Arkad doesn't waste time. He looks at the room and says, "You are here because you have failed to learn the truths that make men wealthy. And I am here to teach you. No sugarcoating. No motivational fluff. Straight to business. Here's the thing. These 7 rules were taught over 2,000 years ago and they still work better than 90% of the financial advice you'll find on the internet today." Cure number 1. Start thy purse to fattening. In modern English, pay yourself first. Arkad tells the class. For every 10 coins thou plackest within thy purse, take out for use but 9. Thy purse will start to fatten at once, and its increasing weight will feel good in thy hand and bring satisfaction to thy soul. 10%. That's the starting line. Before rent, before groceries, before anything. 1 coin out of every 10 goes into a jar you do not touch. And immediately, someone in the back of the room says what everyone's thinking. But Arkad, I can barely afford what I spend now. How am I supposed to live on 90%? And Arkad hits him with the truth. Did you not just say you cannot afford everything you need? So you're already not covering everything on 100%. What makes you think that missing 10% will change anything? That's the key insight. You're already short. You're already struggling. So take 10% off the top, and your lifestyle adjusts. It always adjusts. You find cheaper options. You cut the things that didn't matter anyway. And now, for the first time in your life, you have something growing. Cure number 2. Control thy expenditures. Or as I'd say it, budget or stay broke forever. Arkad says something here that should be tattooed on everyone's wall. That which each of us calls our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our incomes, unless we protest to the contrary. Read that again. Your spending rises to match your income. Always. You get a raise? Your expenses mysteriously go up by the same amount. You get a bonus? Gone. Where did it go? You're not even sure. This isn't a Babylonian problem. This is a human problem. It's called lifestyle inflation and it destroys more wealth than bad investments ever will. Arkad's fix is simple. Sit down and write out every single thing you spend money on. Every single thing. Then look at that list and ask yourself, which of these are actually necessary, and which of these are desires I've been calling necessities? That subscription you forgot about? That daily coffee that costs you $1,500 a year? Those impulse buys that felt small but added up to $1,000 a month? Cut them. Not all of them. Just the ones that aren't making your life meaningfully better. Then redirect that money to cure number 1. Cure number 3. Make thy gold multiply. This is where it gets interesting. Saving money is step 1. But money sitting in a jar does nothing. It doesn't grow. Inflation eats it alive. Arkad knew this 2,700 years ago. He says, The gold we may retain from our earnings is but the start. The earnings it will make shall build our fortunes. Translation: your savings are the seed. Investing is the garden. The returns on your investments are the harvest. And the harvest from the harvest is where real wealth comes from. In Babylon, that meant lending money to merchants for interest, funding trade caravans, buying property that generated rent. Today, you've got index funds, dividend stocks, real estate investment trusts, high-yield savings accounts. The tools have changed. The principle hasn't moved an inch. Every single dollar you save should be put to work earning more dollars. And those dollars should earn more dollars. That's compound growth, and we broke that down in detail in episode 1. The point is, saving alone will never make you wealthy. Saving is the foundation. Investing is the building. Cure number 4, and this one is critical. Guard thy treasures from loss. Arcad says, misfortune loves a shining mark. The first sound principle of investment is security of thy principal. In plain English, don't lose your money chasing dumb bets. This is where most people blow it. They save up a little money, they start feeling confident, and then someone comes along with a can't miss opportunity. A crypto coin that's about to moon. A friend's restaurant that's definitely going to take off. A real estate deal that sounds incredible but they don't fully understand. And just like that, years of saving, gone. Arcad learned this the hard way. Early in his career, he gave his savings to a brickmaker who claimed to know how to buy jewels at a discount. The brickmaker knew nothing about jewels. The money vanished. The lesson? Before you invest a single dollar, ask yourself 2 questions. First, can I get my principal back? Second, does the person I'm trusting actually have expertise in this specific area? If the answer to either question is no, walk away. Protect what you've built before you try to grow it. Cure number 5. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Arcad tells his students, own the roof over your head. Now, this was 2,700 years ago, and even then, Arcad understood that paying rent forever is a trap. When you rent, every single payment makes someone else richer. When you own, every payment builds equity for you. In Babylon, home ownership was achievable for ordinary people. The moneylenders would finance homes and you'd pay them back over time, exactly like a mortgage today. Arcad argues that owning your home reduces your cost of living long-term and creates an asset that grows in value. Now let me be real. In today's market, buying a house isn't simple. Prices are high, interest rates fluctuate. Not everyone is in a position to buy right now, and that's fine. But the principle still holds. Wherever possible, turn your biggest expense into an investment rather than a pure cost. If you can't buy yet, that's okay. Stack your savings, build your credit, and position yourself so that when the right opportunity comes, you're ready to move. The goal is to stop paying for someone else's asset and start building your own. Cure number 6. Ensure a future income. Arcad looks at the room and says something that hits different. It behooves a man to make preparation for a suitable income in the days to come, when he is no longer young. He's talking about retirement. In ancient Babylon, 2,700 years ago, a man stood in a room and told 100 people to plan for their future selves. Because here's what nobody wants to think about. You will not always be able to work. Whether it's age, health, injury, or burnout, there will come a day when your ability to trade time for money ends. And if you haven't built income streams that work without you, that day will be devastating. In modern terms, this is your retirement fund, your 401k, your IRA, your investment portfolio that generates enough passive income to cover your life without a paycheck. Arcad says don't just save for a rainy day. Build a system that pays you forever. That could be rental property income, dividend portfolios, a business that runs without you, or simply enough invested that the returns cover your expenses. Future you is counting on present you to not be selfish. Every dollar you invest today is a gift to the person you'll be in 20 or 30 years. Cure number 7. The last one. Increase thy ability to earn. Arcad saves the most overlooked cure for last. He says, the more of wisdom we know, the more we may earn. The man who seeks to learn more of his craft shall be richly rewarded. This isn't about working more hours. This is about becoming more valuable, increasing your skill set, learning things that make you worth more per hour, not just working more hours at the same rate. In Babylon, this meant apprenticing with master craftsmen, learning new trades, studying business and negotiation. Today it means courses, certifications, mentors, books, building new skills that the market will pay you more for. The best investment you will ever make is in yourself. Not in stocks, not in real estate, in your own ability to produce value. Because everything else can be taken away. The market can crash, property can burn down, but what you know and what you can do stays with you forever. Arkad went from being a broke scribe to the richest man in Babylon. Not because he got lucky, because he invested in learning how money actually works. And then he applied what he learned, consistently, relentlessly, for years. So let's zoom out and look at these 7 cures as a system. Because that's what they are. They're not 7 random tips. They're a sequence. Cure 1. Save 10% of everything you earn. Cure 2. Control your spending so you're not bleeding money on things that don't matter. Cure 3. Invest what you save so your money works for you. Cure 4. Protect your investments from bad bets and con artists. Cure 5. Own your home so your biggest expense builds equity. Cure 6. Build income streams that will sustain you when you can no longer work. Cure 7. Never stop learning and increasing your earning power. Each cure builds on the one before it. You can't invest if you haven't saved. You can't save if you can't control your spending. You can't protect your wealth if you don't have any to protect. It's a staircase, not a menu. You don't get to skip steps. And here's the part that makes it powerful. None of this requires being rich to start. None of it requires a fancy degree or connections or luck. It just requires the decision to begin. Let me translate this into a concrete action plan you can start this week. Step 1. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to a savings or investment account. 10% of your paycheck, every single payday. Automated so you never have to think about it. Step 2. Pull up your bank statement from last month. Go line by line. Highlight every charge that wasn't essential. Add it up. That number will probably shock you. Step 3. Open a brokerage account if you don't have one. Something simple. Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, whatever. Put your money into a total market index fund and leave it alone. Step 4. Before you invest in anything outside of that, ask, do I understand this? Would I bet my savings on this person's expertise? If not, pass. Step 5. If you're renting, start building a plan toward ownership. Build your credit score, save for a down payment, research first-time buyer programs in your area. Step 6. Max out your 401k match if your employer offers one. That's free money. Not taking it is literally leaving cash on the table. Step 7. Spend 30 minutes a week learning something that makes you more valuable. A skill, a certification, a book. 30 minutes. That compounds just like money does. 2,700 years ago, 100 broke Babylonians walked into a room. And they walked out with a system that could change everything. The ones who followed it became wealthy. The ones who didn't, they stayed exactly where they were. The same choice is in front of you right now. You know the 7 cures. The question is, are you going to use them? Drop your biggest takeaway in the comments. Tell me which cure you're starting with this week. I read every single one. And if you haven't seen episode 1 yet, go watch it. That's where we break down how one single gold coin turned into a fortune through compound growth. It pairs perfectly with what you just learned. This is wealth in motion. No BS, no hype, just the truth, animated. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you in the next episode.